Monday, December 23rd edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here with you. We have had a very balmy weekend, some record high temperatures and some record high low temperatures across the region as the weekend unfolded. I want to start off with a few camera shots with current conditions. This is about 5:30 this morning, Winston-Salem, rain. 63 degrees, the temperature, dew point way up at 60. Over along the coast in the Outer Banks, that's the Avalon Pier web camera, 64 there. And finally in the mountains, it's beginning to cool down just a bit. Banner Elk at this point in time when I'm cutting the video down to 45. And we will see across the mountains, the foothills, and much of the Piedmont falling temperatures today as the cold front continues to gradually work through the region. Now look at these highs from yesterday. It hit 81 degrees in Fayetteville and Jacksonville, 80 in Wilmington, 81 in Greenville too, 73 in Greensboro, Raleigh 79, 71 in Charlotte, 80 in Columbia. Just an impressive day of warmth yesterday. That's about to become a distant memory. Now it's still, again, pretty balmy considering the time of year this morning. But much colder air waiting in the wings off to the northwest, and that is headed our way in fairly short order. Now, the radar this morning, just a big soaking rain event continuing across all of the Piedmont this morning. You're looking at, again, just a big swath of rain through the foothills, the Piedmont, and that extends well off to the southwest, actually all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico there. And this is a very slow-moving batch of rain. Now there's your last 24 hours of rain totals, and roughly Interstate 85 north and west in North Carolina. That's where the heaviest rain totals have been. You get down into Georgia and Alabama, that's where there's been some huge rain totals, especially around Montgomery and surrounding areas, and then down into southern Mississippi and southeastern Louisiana. Some big rain totals down that way as well. So again, that big swath of rain very slowly progressing to the east. It's a gradual process, but eventually it'll exit the area. Now, as we get into this afternoon, for the Interstate 85 corridor, still some rain, but it'll be more scattered and broken in nature. And then eventually tonight and tomorrow, the drier and the colder air is going to win the battle behind that cold front. So there you go for Christmas Eve. High pressure building in. It's going to be much colder, and even colder again on Christmas Day. Let me show you what it looks like on the numbers here on Futurecast. That's the RPM model for tomorrow. So it's a significantly colder afternoon for Christmas Eve, and then even colder on Christmas Day. Well, we kind of skipped through that, but let me go back to that chart for you. There we are. Christmas Day, 3 in the afternoon. You're going to have a lot of Piedmont and foothill spots struggle to make it out of the 30s into the low 40s at best. So yeah, it definitely is going to be a colder air mass moving on in. All right, on to some of the more detailed modeling, and we'll talk about the longer range here too. This is a look at the European model for today, the upper air chart. Trough slowly buckling into the region as we get on into tomorrow. That piece of energy rounding the base of the trough, finally swinging that cold front well to the east of us, and the colder air takes over. Now, as we get on out to, let's see, this will be Friday night. Notice a couple of pieces of energy trailing behind here, and it's kind of a complex setup. Another little piece of energy swinging to the south, well to the south, on Monday of next week. Now, the European and the GFS largely keep us dry in that late week and early next week time period. The Canadian does bring some precipitation in, but it is in the form of rain. Let me show you, first of all, there we are, Christmas Eve, that cold high pressure building in. Christmas morning, it's right overhead. And then again, in a longer range, you have some systems skirting to the south of us, but on the GFS and the European, they do stay south of most of the region. Now, in the longer range, I believe we're going to see the Arctic oscillation trend toward negative. Modeling getting in fairly good agreement with that scenario. I've been keeping an eye on that for a while now. And just a couple of ensemble charts here. This is the European ensemble mean up at 500 millibars at 240 hours. So this is out the evening of New Year's Day. Ridging near the west coast, and you're looking basically at the polar vortex on our side of the hemisphere, and that's not a brutally cold setup, but it is a pretty chilly setup. And again, the GFS eventually wants to bring some systems through around the base of that trough. But this is the thing to key on. This is not you're not looking at a big, huge negative NAO, so you're not looking at a situation where with minus Arctic, a negative Arctic oscillation and a negative NAO where the cold just kind of overwhelms the pattern. You're looking at a pattern where there's some cold air around, and if you can keep the southern branch active, that's not a terrible looking pattern overall if you're looking for the chances of some type of wintry precip and in parts of the southeast down the road. So we'll see how that all plays out, but it's not a terrible looking pattern if you like winter weather that we're heading into. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.